When it comes to picking a career path, like my friends at Self Enhancement Inc. always say, life has options. But with so many choices, how does one decide which way to go? College or trades? Well, that is the question and the situation, and we are digging deep into both sides for our conversation today. Are you ready? Let's go.
Situations and conversations with Renee. Situations and conversations with Renee. Real situations, real conversations. Empowering the community leads to elevation. Entertainment and education, no better time than now.
Hey, welcome to Situations and Conversations. I am your host, Renee. Thank you so much for joining us today. Now, most of y'all know I went to college and graduate school, but I understand that path is not for everyone. Here with me today are a few folks who are ready to talk about the pros and the cons of going the traditional college route, and also what it's like jumping straight into the workforce through the trades. To kick things off, I have Mel Jones from Hoffman Construction and Jeff Moreland from Raymore Construction with me. Hey guys!
Hello.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having us.
All right, so I know a little bit about your backgrounds, but for the viewers, why don't you let them know a little bit about who you are and what you do? Let's start with you, Mel.
Well, Mel Jones, I'm the Director of Inclusion over at Hoffman Construction. And my job is it's changed a couple routes. I used to spend most of my time working and developing those small businesses, trying to help them understand how to grow from whether it's $1 million firm to a $3 million or the 250 pop shop to $1 million, really helping them understand the back understandings of how the business side needs to work after they've already locked in and understand their skill set.
Gotcha.
And so that's pretty much where I spend predominantly most of my time developing that. And then that's grown into now where I spend a lot of time helping with our leadership development and our own internal program on psychological safety.
Oh, wow.
And what that truly means and how we try to create a culture and an atmosphere where people can truly be free to be who we are when we come into this construction industry.
That's not something most people think about when you think about going into construction, the psychological impacts or anything. You always think about, it's labor, right? It's a trade. You're very skilled. It's a particular thing. You go out there, you do that, and you go home, right? So this is good. Thank you so much for being here. All right, and Jeff, tell us a little bit about you.
I'm Jeff Moreland. I'm the president of Raymore Construction. We are a heavy civil contractor. We've been around for over 20 years, and we do a lot of infrastructure work in the community.
Yeah, you guys do. I hear Raymore Construction all the time. So you guys are obviously out there doing the things, and we really appreciate you guys both being here to speak to this whole question, right? Like, I read a study that said that this generation, Gen Zers, are really going more toward the trade route after high school. What was your path, Mel?
Mine a little different. I actually played sports and everything, so I was able to go ahead and go through college. But I grew up very hands-on, single mom family. So when we had to do new drywall when there was a hole in the wall, we did it. When we needed new electrical and lights in a room, we did it. We needed plumbing in the bathroom, we did it. So
That's so funny. Let me just say, only because a lot of us grew up this way, right? My dad was like the MacGyver of everything. Yeah. Anything that was going on in the house, he was like, I got it. Now, whether it was done to code or correctly is a whole nother ball game, right? But a lot of us, we didn't have either the money, the resources, or the people to know who to call to fix things around the house. Do you have a similar experience?
Yeah, necessity is the mother of invention. Our people, because we were limited in our access to resources, we had to figure it out. And so my path's a little different. I went to college like Mel, played sports, went to college, and I did corporate though, because I graduated with a finance degree, marketing degree is what I graduated in. And I did corporate with insurance and banking for a long time. But at the same time, I was always buying old homes in Northeast Portland and fixing them up and doing that piece of it because I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit. So that was my pathway into construction.
So you guys are college educated, but you are fully into the trades now. Like how, I just find that to be really interesting, especially since you guys are here to talk about going into the trades. Like there are kids out here, young people, and some grown too, who maybe want to make a shift and they're really considering going to like trade school and learning a very specific skill. What would you say are the pros of doing that, Jeff?
The pros are is because really to build wealth, to build family, home ownership, the things that actually build family, that builds community, you need economics, right? And we were sold, we were that generation that education is the key, education is the key, education is the key. That's what they told us. Go get your master's degree, go do this, right? Whereas that wasn't told to a lot of communities. A lot of communities were told to build economics. If you look at the titans of industry in America, right? The titans of industry, when you would call them the robber barons, most of them have degrees. They went and started businesses. And from there, they were able to build out the wealth that they have and their families have, right? We were taught opposite of that. We were taught to go get an education and get a good job. Right. That's what we were taught, right, versus saying that you can actually be an owner. You can actually, people don't realize in Oregon, in the private held companies, 26 of them are construction companies.
Really? You are correct.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. And so when you start looking at these things and you looking at all these construction companies, and most of them started with somebody in the trades, a painter, right? Or a plumber, or an electrician. And then they went and became an entrepreneur as a result of that. And I'm not knocking education, because nothing wrong with education, right? But we don't see construction as a first option. And it really is a first option, because you're coming out of school, you don't have any debt, right? You can go in and you start making a living wage job. You have people 18 years old making $50,000 to $60,000 a year coming out of school.
See, and that right there, that's where, in my mind, I'm like, that's the difference. Because again, like you said, in our generation growing up, it was like, get your education, go get a good job, get in that workforce, get that 401k going and all that kind of stuff, and you'll be good, right? But what we started to see is that you get laid off in a heartbeat. And then what? Right now, you're always kind of relying on somebody else for your livelihood, as opposed to being able to rely on yourself to kind of make some things happen. So Mel, what would you say to somebody who's right now considering whether or not they want to go to college or they want to get into the trades? And if they're thinking more toward the trades, how do they get in there and make that $50,000, $60,000 right out of high school?
There's a lot of opportunities. What I'd start to say is where we messed up from the beginning, right? When I was going to school, when I was going to Benson, I didn't understand my algebra class until I took my first shop class. When I started cutting 2x4s and having to match up and do sheeting on the front of them and do things like that, that's when my algebra started making sense. Same with geometry. Didn't make sense to start taking my sheet metal class. When I started bending and started adjusting things like that, then I would go to my geometry class, and then things made sense. So first of all, we're missing the mark on how do we use those trades to make it practically applicable to what we do in school. So we give these kids a vision for the use of that skill that they're learning when they learn the math and science. Construction can help with that. Second part is, I think everybody should learn a skill. The fact that I can do things in my neighborhood that my neighbors can't, the fact that I'm marketable in any state, in any country I go to because I have a skill, that should be our first starting point. How can we long outlive a regular day-to-day job? So when you have that as the incentive, then it's easy to tell people to, look, why don't you take a pre-apprentice course? There's plenty of programs out there that can give you some insight into what the construction industry looks like, the different variations and occupations within it. And then you can take another approach of just going right on down to the union halls and sign up and learn a trade.
Do you have to pay though? Is it like going to school? Do you have to pay in order to learn? Like, let's say I want to get into plumbing. My man is a plumber. So that's where my mind goes. Do you have to pay to go to school for that or learn that skill?
You get paid to go to school for that.
Say what? Say that louder for the people in the back.
You get paid to go to school for that.
Well, there you have, listen, we ran out of time for this particular part of the conversation, but man, that's a big incentive right there. I mean, as opposed to college, which we'll get into when we come back, where you're paying. So thank you guys so much. Very successful in the community, very successful in family, and really appreciate your time, your expertise, and everything that you've been doing, and blessings on all the things you're going to continue to do. Thank you both so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, we will be right back to have that conversation about college. I didn't forget about y'all. It's just as important. We're going to get to it when we come back. Hang on. Special thanks to our presenting sponsor, Oregon Health Authority, helping people and communities achieve optimum physical, mental, and social well-being. All right, welcome back to Situations and Conversations. I'm Renee, and here with me now to discuss the benefits of a college education is Professor of English and Literature at Lynn Benton Community College, and my lovely Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated sister, Dr. Ramycia McGhee is here. Ramycia!
Hi,
It's so good to see you. Oh my gosh.
Good to see you. You look great.
Well, so I had to match your
Well,
fly.
you know, pink is our theme.
It absolutely is. And the green, but we'll
Hello,
get into
darling.
that
Hello,
another
darling.
time. I'm so happy to have you here. And of course, I'm going to reference you as Dr. McGhee because you have earned all of that.
Hello, somebody.
Talk to us about your educational path. Like, why college and why go the route you did?
Well, I actually went to school for journalism. I actually wanted to do this full time.
What?
I have 2 degrees in journalism. I have my bachelor's and my master's in journalism, particularly radio and broadcast.
How do I not know this about you?
I don't know, but
that's crazy. Okay, I'm sipping my tea.
And teaching kind of fell in my lap, honestly. It was not my go-to. My go-to was to be a radio host. My go-to was to be an anchor. You know, I was like, I'm going to be the next Oprah, which could still happen.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm not giving up on my dream.
All things
Hallelujah.
are possible.
There you go. And so I ended up going to school at University of Wisconsin, Whitewater, getting my undergrad, and then I got my master's at Roosevelt University in Chicago, where I'm from. And then I got my doctorate in Education Leadership Management from Capella University. And when I was in
doctorate, baby, we have to celebrate that.
And I was done with my doctorate by 29. I was completely finished. And because I went to school back to back to back. I graduated in undergrad and it was a recession. It wasn't no jobs. I was interning. I graduated in 2007. And I was in a scholarship program that grooms you to get a doctorate, a PhD, an EDD. I have an EDD. And so I always knew that was going to happen. But I didn't know it was going to happen like as soon as it did.
Got you.
And I started teaching and I fell in love with it.
Well, I'm sure your students are also absolutely in love with you.
Students.
I know you do. And you know, you're one of those professors that are just like easy to talk to. You know your stuff, but people really want to gravitate towards you. And this is why I wanted you to speak to this in particular, because people are really trying to choose between going into college or going into the trades. And we already had a conversation about, construction and having a specific skill about, with hands-on experience. Sure. But why do you think that young people or anyone should go the college route?
So the traditional college route is good for people who want to explore their options. Everybody is not good at the trades. I used to work for a trades. I used to work for the Chicago Women in Trades. And I was out recruiting young women to become pipe fitters, electricians, sheet metalists, all of that sort of thing. But that's a lot of hard work on the body over time. And everybody doesn't think about that. You have to think, that's why they got the best health insurance they needed. They put their bodies at risk. Real talk.
That's true.
It's honestly. True. And I think the traditional college route allows students to try to figure out what they want to do. It allows you to have exploration and advocacy and agency over your life and how you want to do it. You may start off in something. I started off in journalism and I'm teaching. That's not the path I wanted for myself, but obviously the Lord saw different. But that's what stuck with me. And I would have never known that that's what I wanted to do had I not been out exploring things, had I not went to college.
And had the exposure to a number of different things when you do go to college. I mean, Absolutely. It's so interesting that you mentioned going to college for one thing and ending up doing something completely different. Same here. Yeah. I have my bachelor's in political science with a minor in psychology. And then I went and got a master's degree in social work.
Wow.
And people are like, you're a radio and television host.
Yes.
How do all those things come together? Honestly, I mean, first of all, I listen to the Lord when he tells me something. And I say yes to more opportunities than I say no to. I'm open. But also, I was exposed to so many things. I thought my life was going to look completely different.
You and me both.
But the truth is, the education foundation, it all builds up to wherever I am, like whatever it is that I'm choosing to do at whatever time, it all connects, like especially the social work piece. I mean, that's just people, that's people being with people and meeting people where they are. Absolutely. Well, that's what I do every day on this show. We talk about things that are important and relevant in the community, right, that people are talking about. And I do it my way, right? And so it's interesting, though, that so many people go to college for one thing and end up doing something different. But besides all of that, what are some of the things that you think college can also afford young people or people in general that just going straight into the workforce may not?
Outside of the exploration of what you want to do, you also meet a lot of people along the way. So you meet some of your best friends in undergrad and graduate school. You in college. Some of my best girlfriends, life friends, are who I met when I was 20, 18, 19 in college. So you get those bonds. You also have an opportunity to go back to your school and show people like, hey, I can do it.
Yeah.
Not that whole I can do it, you can do it, but it's tangible. You can touch me. It's not a commercial. I'm real. I came from the same hoods you came from. My parents were this and that. I lived in the same dorms. I started off as this. I changed that. So it's tangible. It really can happen for you. So you get a chance to do all of that. And on top of that, it's fun.
Yeah.
You get to pledge a sorority if you so choose. Have to be Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated.
Please do.
Nothing else. So you get a chance to, you just get a chance to be exposed. You get a chance to have fun. You get a chance to live on your own. You get a chance to really step up and be an adult in a way that you probably haven't had an opportunity to be when you were in high school or living with your parents. You get a chance to make your own schedule. That's the first thing about working, making your schedule, learning how to do that, time management, budgeting your money. In college, you do be broke.
That's
you
the
do
truth.
Be broke.
It's hard. It's hard out there in the college world for a lot.
Yes.
Everybody does not have like the trust funds and
The means.
and the full scholarships.
That's right.
Some of us had to take out loans, which is one thing that's really deterring a lot of people coming out of high school. It's like it just costs too much money to go to college. What do you say about that?
I say that education is priceless and to be uneducated is costly. So you need to figure that out.
Okay, I need you to repeat that one more time because that was a goodie. That needs to be on a t-shirt somewhere. Say that again.
Being educated is priceless and being uneducated is costly. I mean, it's expensive to go to college, but it is an investment and there is money out here. But one thing about knowledge, it is always building and no one can take away that. You know, one of the things that our predecessor said, Frederick Douglass said, you know, education will set you free. He believed that education would set us free. Not just a metaphorical thing, but really spiritually, you have freedom in your literacy. You know, to be illiterate is such a crime. It's so sad. You don't understand. Have you talked to someone who does not know how to read? That is one of the worst things. And it's liberating to have knowledge. It's liberating to have education. It's liberating to express education and to show people. So yes, you may have a little bit of that, but you're going to have that anyway. My mother always said, them bills, you going to have bills until the day you leave this earth, and that's real.
Well,
so you got to
know
figure
what?
out where you want to put that money.
It's true.
You really do.
It's true. And this is a conversation that I'm so glad that we're having. And I know that you all are continuing to also have in your homes. Please continue to do so. It's worth it to like really explore all of your options, see where you are in life. And guess what? It's never too late to make a switch up. You may start off into one thing and go into another. And like my daddy always said, you can do everything you want to do.
And then some. And to reduce costs, you can come to a community college. You don't have to roll right off.
That's true. There's that option too.
Into a
For
university
year,
because in community colleges, they do offer trades and technology-based education. So you can go right into the workforce and you still have some background and some credits and some exposure to traditional education paths. So you can definitely do that too. I highly recommend that. I didn't go to a community college. I worked in one. I've been working in them for many years. But I think it allows you to get that exposure to, hey, I really do like being a mechanic, but I also took an African American literature class, and now I can have a conversation about and have more empathy about and to the people of this country and all those sorts of things.
It's the best of both worlds.
There.
How about that? It's the best of both worlds.
Best of both worlds.
Dr. McGhee, Soror, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
And I'm going to ask you to stick around. Do you mind sticking around for a Hey Trey segment and get a little juicy convo going?
Anything for my soror, anything for the sisterhood.
I love it. I love you. And I love y'all too. So make sure you do not go anywhere. We have Hey Trey coming up next, and it's going to be juicy. Okay, so hang tight. We'll be right back. Special thanks to our presenting sponsor, Oregon Health Authority, helping people and communities achieve optimum physical, mental, and social well-being.
Hi, my name is Nina and I'm the director of Stores of Adorn. We are a women's clothing boutique that specializes in having a diverse selection of brands, styles that fit all different body types. We are at our Lake Oswego location today. We are one of 3 stores and our 2 other stores in Portland. Thanks for coming in. We hope to see you at one of our 3 locations.
She was a conversations with Trey Renee. Situations and conversations with Trey Renee.
Hey y'all, welcome back to Situations and Conversations with me, Trey Renee. It is now time for one of my favorite segments. Hey Trey, that's me, where we discuss the juicy topics that you all are talking about. This is a goodie. Okay, first of all, when you go out to eat with the group, who's supposed to pay the bill? Individual checks? Split everything? How do you handle these things when folks are even just a little bit tight on funds? I love this. Here to weigh in, Dr. Ramycia McGhee is still hanging out with us. Thank you. Of course. My executive producer, Tay Ford, is here. And the lovely Abibat Durosimi of Bloom Beauty Collective is also hanging with us. Thank you so much, my dear. I'm so happy to have y'all here for this conversation because everybody has an opinion. But I want to start with Dr. McGhee because intimately, we were together at your fabulous birthday gathering.
That's right.
And you had a very wonderful way, in my opinion, of handling a large group and how people were paying for your birthday dinner. So do tell, dish a little bit.
Well, I sent everybody the menu first. And I said, hey, this is how much it is. Is everybody cool with that? Just give me a thumbs up. That's all I asked for. Everybody was like, thumb. Cool, boom. I put the contract in, I paid the deposit, I did the bulk of the work and paid the bulk of the money for the one thing that we had. Right. And then everybody Venmo'd me their money by that Friday and we was good. And then when we got the bill, because we had some additional things.
We might have had some extra libations.
We had some extra libations.
Because you did provide.
I bought several bottles of wine, but then everybody didn't want wine, and then I gave out wine as gifts for people coming.
Right.
Okay.
And then
it was fabulous at the Ritz.
It was at the Ritz. And so at the end of the night, some people had just, like she said, some extra libations. And what I did was I put everything on my card, and then at the night, I ended up Venmoing people what they owe for just their libations. That was it.
No, but it was a classy way of doing it, which I really did appreciate. Because you let everybody know everything up front. And then it was like, if you're in, you're in. If you're not, it's cool. We get it. Like, no judgments, no problems,
exactly.
Right? Yeah. So, but once you put that thumbs up in there, you're in. We don't want to hear nothing on the back end. We don't want to hear nothing about no problems later on.
I need your money.
Deal with it. Deal with it, because you put your money down. Yes. Now you need to be
right, because I had to put down the deposit in order to secure the space. Exactly. If your money, if you don't have it at the moment and you need me, right? Exactly. If your money, if you don't have it at the moment and you need me to spot you, I'm cool with that too. And then again, like the extra libations was cool because I just sat there and was like, okay, $30 for your 2 drinks you had. And everybody sent it, no problem. I ain't have to wait. Everybody, and I wasn't in a hurry, but I knew if I didn't do it that night, I was gonna be tired.
Which I thought was so funny because we had such a great time and there was lots of drinks flowing. And I was like, how does she even remember and keep track? This is the good doctor over here. She knows what she's doing. But it was perfect. It was like a little Venmo. It was a request. All you had to do was just hit the button, make it happen, done. So I appreciate your approach on this. Now, how do you all feel about it? Do you go out with groups for restaurants and then expect it to just be split evenly? Or are you like, I only had the fries and that's all I'm paying for?
I'm never gonna be on that type of time. Like if it's me at dinner or I'm on a vacation, especially, it might just be some ego, like alpha male type stuff. I'm not gonna embarrass myself in front of no women. Like I recently was in Vegas probably about a month ago. Me and my friend, he really wanted to get a section, but I'm gonna just be a good friend and go off on this with you. Put my card down. I'm not gonna be sitting here huddling over $200-300. Thankfully, I'm blessed enough to where that's not an issue for me. But if you need to be doing a huddle up over that amount, you probably don't need to be outside.
That's what I think. Right, to be back, go ahead.
No, that part. I think at the end of the day, it's like when you don't have the coins, let's not go outside. Just be like, you know what, I'm gonna pass. But then also too, just the fact that I love the fact that you did the whole Venmo, you planned it out, but then at the same time, when everybody wants to share a meal and it's a family meal, then I would say like, we can all split it up, but then the drink's separate.
If you're inviting me, unless we know off top, like you did for your birthday, that this is going to be a shared experience financially, if you're inviting me to dinner, I have an expectation that you're paying. Listen, and that may not be what everybody thinks, but in my mind, if you're inviting me, then I'm thinking you're paying. And maybe I'm thinking more along the lines of a date, or, you know, if there's an event or a function and you're inviting me, then, and you haven't said anything about it being split up or anything, then I'm assuming you got this, right? Okay, that being said, a lot of times we just hang out, right? It's like somebody calls them and say, hey, we need to reconnect. Let's go out for drinks and dinner or what have you. What do you do in that situation? I think people should just split it evenly. I don't like itemizing anything. That's right. That, first of all, I'm uncomfortable having money conversations with people that are my friends. I can do the business piece all day. Right. But something about that money, that is like weird to me. It makes me very uncomfortable. And I would just like, let's just split this and it's all good. Everybody put your cards down. If you deal with cash, put your cash down. Let's just keep it moving. There you go. But a lot of people really are like, I only had one drink and an appetizer, while everybody else at the table wanted to have entrees, you know, full-on meals and apps and drinks, and then they're like, I don't.
Trey, this is how real I am. I had a birthday party I had to go to recently, and you know I don't eat pork. Family style meals, they ordered 3 things straight that I could not eat.
Okay.
I got burned by it financially, you know, it's one of my best friends, so I wasn't even tripping about it, but.
We have high school, like reunion-ish type, you know, meetings up every now and then with my high school friends. And there's one that we just don't invite anymore, because he in particular is always showing up talking about, I don't have it, I ain't got it. But okay, well, guess what? At some point, then you're not gonna be here. Yeah. And I can just text you and we can keep up that way. But we don't have to share a meal and everything, because every time I turn around, you ain't got it. Or you off to the bathroom every single time the check gets put down. And you stay in that mug until everybody's paid it. Like, what is going on?
That's why you send that good old request.
You guys, clearly this conversation could go on and on. I hope you guys continue to have this sort of conversation right in your own homes. But maybe you got a couple of nuggets from my friends here. And I like this a lot. And I think conversation is the key. It's always the key here at Situations and Conversations and beyond. So thank you all for joining us today. Thank you all for being at the table. And God willing, we will be back together again next week for another episode of Situations and Conversations. Until then, you know what to do. Take excellent care of yourselves so that you can take care of other people. And when you think me, think we. When you think you, think two. We'll see you next time.
Special thanks to our presenting sponsor, Oregon Health Authority, helping people and communities achieve optimum physical, mental, and social well-being. And thanks to Tabiba Styles for hair and makeup glam, as well as Adorn Boutiques for my wardrobe. Situations and Conversations with Trey Renee is shot on location at Louisa Event Space in Portland. Situations and Conversations with Trey Renee is a Bum Juice Entertainment production in conjunction with Thomas Chung Films, Bloom Beauty Collective, and Allen & Unger Consulting Group. Situations and Conversations with Trey Renee. Watch Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. on Fox 12 Plus.